Today I'm going to show how to draft a basic pant pattern following the written instructions you can find on Wonder How To. I'll put the link below. Another thing I noticed on those instructions on Wonder How To, in the comments underneath the video where people comment things, apparently there were people having trouble seeing the graphic that was uploaded there. So someone from New Zealand, kindly enough, did a software program that you can link to from her comment to show how to make, the same instructions, but the graphics are a lot easier to see. And I've already tried the link myself. It's definitely a safe link, and it's wonderful. You just enter the measurements, and it creates the pattern for you. So, but let's get started so I don't waste a lot of time. Now, you have to have seen my other videos to understand what I'm doing here, because I'm going to be going as quickly as possible. I taped the instructions here because when you print it, it's like 5 pages. It's crazy. So I'll read the instruction as I go through the steps. So I'm sorry for showing you my back. You're going to be seeing a lot of my back. Alright, so step 1, you draw the rectangle. So from point 1 to point 2, it's half the hip measurement. Point 1 to point 2, half your hip measurement. And I hope I'm keeping this straight. Wait. Point 2 to point 1. From point 1 towards point 2, so you'll be going in this direction. Oh, I have the air conditioner on. Oh. I'm so sorry. From point 1 to 3 and 2 to 4, that's going to be how long you want your pants to be. So remember, we have to keep it perfectly squared, and this is too short. So I'm going to do, what I can. But, so this is 2 going down towards 4, the desired pant length. Same on this side. One, 2, this is 3, and this one is 4. Connect those two lines, those 2 points. You'll be very careful at home when you're doing this. Okay. So there we have our rectangle. Okay, the next step, that's step number 2, from point 1 towards point 2, in that direction, you'll apply 1/4 of your hip circumference. So you will have your own measurements, and here it doesn't matter, inches, centimeters, it's the same. So 1/4 of your hip circumference. Okay, so measure, it's right there. That'll be point number 5. Towards point 4, do the same. 1/4 your hip circumference. Now you're dividing the rectangle into front and back. So here you measure 1/4 of your hip circumference. Measure it. It's this point. That'll be point number 6. Now we connect these with a straight line. I wonder if I have a longer ruler. Okay, we've connected those lines. Now, from point 1 towards point 3 and point 2 towards in the direction of point 4, you put the hip drop measurement. That's a measurement I've explained to you in previous videos. You can also look down below. I'll put a link to how to take your measurements. It's also on Wonder How To. Okay, so just mark off your hip drop here. And on this side, mark it off as well. Okay, those are point 7 and point 8. I'll put it on the outside. Now just bear in mind, this is the back and this is the front. We're going to write that here. It's important. that you know which is which. So this is going to be your front and this is going to be your back. I like to do dotted lines for the ones that we're not actually going to be cutting on. So in this case, I'll put a dotted line to connect the two. There and here. 9 and this is 10. Okay, also, so this is your crotch. Okay, just, you know, magic marker's kind of messy. You'll be using pencil. And where your knee is, you will have measured from your waist to your knee. And I know some people want to use their pants lower than this, so that's what those are the, we're just making the basic pant pattern now. So the waist, the top of the pant is going to come right here. When you start doing your alterations to the pattern, that's when you decide, okay, I want a pant that's lower, etc. So this is just your basic pant, measure to your knee. There and here. Okay, those are going to be points 11 and 12. 11 and 12. So we've done this. So now we're going to start working on the front pattern. From point 2 going towards point 8, we'll mark down 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. It's 1 inch is about approximately 2.5 centimeters. So we'll mark down there. That's number 13. That's point 13. Oof. It's messy. Okay. From 13 towards the center, we're going to measure in also another inch or 2.5 centimeters. We'll measure in exactly squared inward. There we go. That's point 14. From point 14 towards the line connecting 1 and 2, towards this line, okay, you apply 1/4 of the waist measurement. So I've already done the calculations, but it's whatever you've measured your waist divided by 4. That's the measurement you put here. And that will be point 15. Now the way you do it is you take 14 and then you, I wish I had a smaller ruler, then you have the measurement in your head. Now you put one end on 14 and you move this up and down until the measurement you're looking for actually touches the line. Okay, that's point 15. Now 15, we're going to make a point A. This is point A. I should have told you. This is point A and this is point B. You know, they're not numbered. They're just the intersections are point A and point B. Okay, so we'll connect point 15 with point A. And that's actually not going to be the cutting line. So I'm going to use a dotted line. Because since we're going to want to give it a little curve, this is the side. This is the front, see, and the pant is falling this way. This is 1/2 of your front. It's going this way. So you're not straight, you have a little curve there. So we're going to make a little curve to the outside. Did I draw on myself? Okay, connect point. All right, so we did that. find the center point of this line. Okay, so measure the line, find the middle, it's right here. Okay, now from that center point, measure out, this is going to be hard in inches because it's 1/2 centimeter. So an inch, you know, 1/2 centimeter is equal to barely anything. And this is a basic pant, you know, if you're, you know, okay. It's barely anything. I think in inches it's not even worth, 1/2 centimeter is, jeepers. Wait a minute. Well, okay, it's like 1/4 of an inch, I suppose. So go out about 1/4 of an inch. So here's the outer dot. We're not numbering those. So now we're not numbering these. This is just a dot to guide you. We want to connect 15 to point A, you know, with a little curve there. And, you know, so sometimes I draw another straight line and then kind of curve it. It'll get really messy with this. If I do it, when I do it in pencil, I use the eraser. I draw a straight line and a straight line, and then I draw another curve, you know. But in this case, I'll try to just do it, you know, freehand. You know, I do have some lines there that are guiding me, but, you know, it's a curve. It's not straight. So that's going to be your cutting line. Okay. Okay, now we're on step 7 from the instructions from Wonder How To. From point 10, right here, towards the right, we're going that way. We're going to apply the front crotch measurement. So from 10 outwards, we're going to be putting the front crotch measurement. Okay, that's point 16. All right, where am I here? Okay, that's the front crotch. Okay. The front crotch is 15% of 1/4 of the hip measurement. That's what you'll get here. Okay? Okay, from point 10, we'll draw a 45-degree line measuring, we're doing it this way, measuring 1.5 centimeters, or its equivalent in inches. You know, if you have trouble with converting, I usually do my instructions in centimeters, but you can get a tape measure that has both, and then you could see the numbers right along there. So 1.5 centimeters would be about, it's less than an inch. It's, I did it before. I'll tell you what it is up here. It's a little more than 1/2 an inch. So, you know, make sure it's a 45-degree angle. You'll use a protractor. I don't have it with me, but I did it earlier. So, you know, 45-degree angle outward. Okay, and make a little dot there. Good. Now we're going to connect point 14 with 8. That's just a straight line. Okay. 14 with 8. Now we're going to connect 8 with 16 going through this dot that we put outwards. You know, try to make a nice curve. Using that dot as your guide there to point 16. You know, very Try to make it a nice curve there. Connect point 16 with point 12. That's easy enough. Just a straight line. Okay. Find the center between these. I should have made that a dotted line, actually. Okay, 16 to 12, because then we find the center and make it slight curve inward. It gives it just that little elegant touch. So find the center point of these two. I should have made the one, I just did a dotted line. I do apologize, but okay. We found the center. And, you know, square that off. You know, make a square line inward, 0.5 centimeters, you know. And then actually the line will be more curved. So it'll be more of a curved line. In my case, there's not much of a difference. In most cases, it's only a, you know, a little bit of, just make a nice, so the curve will be a little bit inward more. But it really depends. If you're super thin, maybe that's fine. If you're a little bit curvier, you may not, you know, you may not even want to bring this in. There we go. So even though these are rules, I always like to remind the viewers that there are no rules. I mean, this is one way to make pants. There are other ways. There are other types of pattern making. You can do it organically, like I did in my first video, where I combined some pattern making with some sort of putting it on my own body. You know, there are different ways of doing things. So that's why I don't like to be like, oh, you have to do it this way, or, you know, that I try to give just the basics so that you can expand upon it and design and use what's best for you. Now from point C, I didn't mark this. This is point C. Now I'm realizing there's some things missing in the instructions. So point A, B, and C. Okay, so now for the next one, from point C, this is point C, towards 12, towards number 12, we're going to make a point D, 3 centimeters in, or a little over an inch inward. Okay, there, that's point D. Apply the same distance from point 6 towards point 4. That's down here. So it's going to be at the hem. Same distance. Towards point 4. And that's point E. I should write this big so you can see. Okay. Now we're going to draw the front side by connecting point, the front side of the pants by connecting points A, B, D, and E. Now we're going to do the back. So let's just go ahead and start. So from point 1 towards point 5, 2.5 centimeters in. That's about 1 inch. There we go. That's point 17. But it's really just a marking point because you're going to be going up now. From 17 upwards, straight up, also about one inch. I might go a little bit smaller, but okay, that's point 18. I wonder if you'll be able to see it here. Oh, it's raining. From 18, I made another tag, to the top line. This is the top line. So from 18 1/4 from 18 down to this line, 1/4 of the waist measurement plus 2 centimeters. Centimeters. I don't think I'll ever, when I think about it, I can pronounce it, but here we go. Get the measurement. And that's 19. Can you see the line? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to connect point 19 to point A. The A from what we did earlier. And actually that's going to be a dotted line because then we're going to curve that outwards as well. Then halfway down the line, halfway between point 19 and point A, you make a little dot. I'm not measuring it properly here. It's about 4 inches down. There we go. Half centimeter outward or about 1/4 inch, and do your curve there. Sorry if I'm blocking. I'll get on this side. And do your nice curve here as neatly as possible. Okay, we did that one. From point 7, right over here, towards point 1, in an upward movement, apply 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. Okay, that will be point 20. I'm writing bigger than I've been writing. See, I should have made these bigger. I hope you can see. Okay, from point 9 to the left, going in this direction, apply the back crotch measurement. The back crotch is calculated as 45% of 1/4 of the hip measurement. Okay, or the front crotch multiplied by 3. I like the first calculation better. Okay, so we'll just measure it outward. Okay, mark the center point between 18 and 19. We're going back up here. Between 18 and 19, find the center. Right here. Okay, that's point 21. That's where you're going to be putting your dart. So, perfectly coming straight down using your protractor. So you're not doing it like this. You're actually pointing straight parallel to the floor. Oh yeah, it's going to be 5 centimeters long. This is your dart, about 5 centimeters or 3. Let's make it 3 inches long. Okay, so I can make it a little longer. And then to either side, 1 centimeter or 1/2 inch. Put your dart in there. As evenly and neatly as possible. Now this is point 22, by the way, the bottom of the dart. Now we're going to draw a line. We're going back to this place. We're going to draw a line about 4.5 centimeters long from point 9 at a 45-degree angle. Okay. So apparently the camera cut off while I was talking, and I had already done a bunch more. Well, not much more, thank goodness. But so I was at the point where I was showing you 45-degree angle here. Okay, and I've even checked off. Okay, gotta find my spot here on the, because I've even checked off how far along I've gotten. So 45-degree angle. Okay, here we go. So step 11 on the back pattern is draw a line at a 45-degree angle right here. Okay, then we draw the back crotch by connecting points 18 to 20 with a straight line. I did that part already when the camera turned off on me here. And then from point 20 to 23, we just draw a curve going through the end of this 45-degree line, which is 4.5 centimeters. Okay, so we draw that curve there. Step number 13 on this back pattern. So from point 11, we go 2 centimeters outwards, and we mark that as point F. That's as far as I had gotten. And then do the same here at the bottom. From point 3, we go outwards, and this is point G. Outwards to point G. That's point G, okay? So now we just connect point 23. Oh, at the center of the line, again, we do another one of those curves. That would be number 14, where you find the center of the line. You go inward 0.5 centimeters, which would be about there, and then connect 23 to F, point 23 to point F, going through that dot. Sort of more of a curve than a line, but it's pretty much inward through here. Okay? Then point F, we connect to point G. With a straight line in. No, it's just a centimeter in. So from point C inward, it's 1 centimeter. It's H. From point 6 inward, that's I. Yeah, and here we're just drawing straight lines, apparently. At least that's what the instructions say. So connect B with H, which I've already done. And then here I was kind of messy drawing the line, and that's when I realized that the camera turned off. And connect G to I, and that's your hemline. Okay, so that's that. Now the only thing left to do before you cut it, confirm that the distance between points 16 and 12 are the same distance between 23 and F. They have to match, because when you cut it and sew it together, if not, you just make the back one, let's see, move point 23 down. So to adjust it, if it turns out it's not the right measurement, you move this down, point 23 up or down, so that it becomes the correct measurement. Okay? And then the rest, you should know by now. This is just drawing the pattern. You know you have to add your seam allowances. Once you cut it, you can either tape it on to another piece of paper and add in the seam allowances for a final cutting pattern, or just use the base pattern and place it on the fabric and cut around the fabric, but adding seam allowance while cutting around it. But here I'll just cut out so you see what parts are what. Front and back. Thanks for watching.